Hi everyone. This is our lecture on non-action verbs. So the first thing I want to explain to you is, let's see, let me just quickly explain action verbs so that you understand this. Action verbs are where something is happening, like a person runs or walks or sits or stands or types or studies, right? Those are somebody is doing something with an action verb. So what we're going to study today are non-action verbs. So, of course, if it's non-action, that means there's no action. All right? And the reason this is important is that non-action verbs are used in the simple present tense. They are not used in the present progressive. And this list of verbs is in your book on page 16. It is a very important list of verbs, so you should study it not once, but twice, 3 times, 4 times, because it is used in so many different grammar points in the future. Later in 1300 and again in 1400, 1500, you will have to remember which verbs can be used in the simple present and or the present progressive. You're going to have to know this list. All right, so we're going to go over the list today, and they are grouped in categories. The first categories is feelings. So verbs that have feelings are like, I don't want that line to continue. Love, hate, like. All right, those are all verbs that have to do with feeling. So we we would say, let's see, I'll do bullet points. We would say, I hate math, right? We would not say, I am hating math. That's wrong. Um, I love my children. You would not say, I am loving my children. All right. All right. Um, so there's no action there, right? When you're talking about how you feel about your math class, I hate math, there's nothing happening. It's the way you feel. So we do not use those verbs in the present progressive. And again, there are more verbs. There are more verbs on page 16, so you should study the whole list. All right, the next group is called possession. All right, so examples of possession are like own, have, and even the word possess. So, for example, you would say, I own a car. You wouldn't say, I am owning a car. So, I own a car. You're not doing anything. It's just like saying, the car belongs to me. I have 2 sisters. We would not say, I am having 2 sisters. Okay? Again, there are more verbs, I think, on page 16, so make sure you check it out. All right, the next group is called appearance. Appearance is the way somebody looks. So verbs in that category are like appear, look, seems. Okay, so we would say he seems tired. We would not say he is seeming tired, right? He looks nice. We would not say he is looking nice. All right. The next group is um, mental. So that has to do with your brain, right? Your head. So examples of mental verbs are believe, think, all right? And again, go to page, what was it? Page 16 and study perhaps a longer list. So I believe in God. We wouldn't say I am believing in God, all right? You'd also say I think, now this is an opinion, right? This is when think you're giving an opinion. I think he is nice. You would not say I am thinking he is nice. All right, I'm giving an opinion. You use a simple present tense. An opinion is basically what you think about something. All right. Oh, let me do this one. Go down there. Okay. Um, all right. Let's get into senses is the next group. Okay. Senses. Um, they're like feel, touch. What are the five senses? See, hear, feel, taste, touch. One, two, three. That's five. Okay? So that's what I mean by senses. So we would say, let's see. Oh, you know what I left out? Oh, taste. Oh, feel and touch are the same. So I'm going to change feel. I knew I was missing one. To smell. Those are the five senses. So we would say the soup smells good. So notice the soup isn't doing anything. The soup is just sitting there in the bowl or the pot and it's not doing anything, but it smells good. So we would not say the soup is smelling good. All right. Um, we would say the cake tastes delicious. So again, the cake isn't doing anything. All right. Now let me give you one more here. hear the music, right? We hear because we have ears. We're not trying to do anything. It's just we hear because we have ears and we can't help it. We hear a car go by. We hear the birds singing. Um, so we would not say, I am hearing the music. Now, I'm going to get into some explanation later with listen so you know the difference. Um, and I'm going to talk about some different rules with think and have and listen, after I'm done with all of these categories of non-action verbs. All right. So we also have one more group, and it is called desires. So a desire is when you want something, right? So you have, oops, so some words in that category are want, need, um, prefer. Okay, prefer means you like it better. So I want a piece of cake. We would not say, I am wanting a piece of cake, right? I need a band-aid. You know what a band-aid is? When you cut yourself, you put it on your finger or whatever you cut. You would not say, I am needing a band-aid. All right, so all those verbs are in the simple present tense. All right, let's talk about some exceptions. Do you know what the word exceptions means? Oops. An exception means different from the rule, like, or doesn't follow the rule. So I just taught you these rules, that all of, feelings and possession and appearance and a mental state and senses and desires do not are not used in the present progressive. But there's always exceptions, and that means sometimes in special situations we can use some of these in the progressive, and I'm going to talk about them right now. All right, so what are some that can be used in the progressive? Have. But, you know, it's like up here, possession. I have two sisters. I could never say I'm having two sisters. But let's see, let me give you another example too. I have a headache. We always say it in the simple present. We would not say I am having a headache. All right, but when can we use have in the progressive? We can use it with these expressions. We are having a good time. We are having a bad time. We are having a lousy time, okay? But anything, we're having a good time, we're having a bad time, you can use that in the progressive. You can even ask it, in a question. Are you having a good, bad time? Right? Are you having a bad time? Um, and let's see. I'm having a problem. You can say that. And I'm having a baby. You can say that. Or we are having a baby, right? Those are the only times that you can use have in the progressive. That's it. Having a good time, having a bad time, having a problem, I'm having a baby, right? That's the only time you can use that have in the progressive. All right. All right. I think. All right. Think. Think, as I told you up here, it's a mental verb. We do not use mental verbs in the progressive. And we're we are giving our opinion here. I think he's nice. I think the class is good, right? But if think is followed by about, you can use it in the progressive. Because if you notice, you're not giving your opinion, you're doing something. When it's followed by about, you're doing something. So I could say, I think about um, my, oh, I don't want it bolded. I think about my family back in Iraq every day. You can say that. You can also say, let me get this all on one page. I am thinking about my family back in Iraq right now. That is perfectly okay to say that because you have think followed by about. It must be followed by about to use it in the present progressive. Now the reason we used it in the present here is because you have every, which takes the simple present, but right now takes the present progressive. But if I go back up to this example up here, um, let's see. I think he is nice. Even if I said right now, I mean that doesn't. It just sounds really funny. Um, but you cannot use this in the progressive if it doesn't have about after it. It's not possible. Okay, so you can't say that. All right. Now we have taste and smell. If you remember my examples up here, the soup smells good. The cake tastes delicious. The soup isn't doing anything. It's just sitting there in the bowl. The cake isn't doing anything. It's just sitting on the plate. It's not doing anything. But if you have a different subject, Like I, or let's change it to Mary. Mary, that's a human being, and human beings are capable of action. They're capable of doing things. A cake can't move. A cake can't sing or sit up or walk, right? A cake and soup can't do anything, but a human being can do something. So you could say Mary is smelling the soup, right? Because she's doing something. You could also say the boy is eating the cake. Oh, sorry. Sorry. That doesn't make sense, right? He is tasting. And I'll just keep it soup. He's tasting the soup. All right? Because there's an action there. So it's not a non-action verb. This is an action verb. So smell and taste can be both action and non-action. But the only way it's action is if there's a person as the subject doing something. I hope that's clear. And then I was going to just explain the difference between hear and taste. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Hear and listen. All right. Again, hear. Um, you're not you're not doing anything. It's just you have ears and you hear something. Shoot. Hold on, I'll get it right eventually. There we go. I hear something. Do you? Right? You hear something because you have ears. You could say, I hear. Well, let's ask a question. You can also ask a question. Do you, um, can you hear the birds singing? Right? Again, you have ears and they work. You don't have a problem with your ears, so you hear the birds. But listen means like you're trying. You're trying to listen. So listen is like I am listening to some music right now. So that's the difference between hear and listen. So listen is an action verb. It's an action verb. Oops, I better do remember when you have ing, you have to have a be verb, right, everybody? Um, so you're actually doing something here. You're trying. You're paying attention. I'm listening to some music right now. Um, and of course, it can also be in the present. You know, if you have the word every, then you need to use the simple present. But it's an action. So just so you remember, action verbs can be used in the progressive or the simple present. All right, and I think that's it. So you need to listen to this lecture. You need to go into your book on page 16 and you can study that chart, read it, and then do the homework on Canvas. All right. Um, that's it, everyone. Have a great evening.